Okay, hello everyone. My name is Piotr Bartman-Schwarz and I'm from Invisible Things Lab. And today I'm going to talk about some recent advances in device management in Qubes OS 4.3. Unfortunately, I cannot join you in person, but I can talk remotely. So this is how it is. Uh, My goal today is to discuss changes in external peripheral devices handling and to clarify any emerging inaccuracies because was a little confusion from the last presentation how to do this. I will cover how device assignment and attachments works, what is the differences between them in the final version, what's changed from the last year and how we can use the new features to improve security and automation in our setups. So let's start with short introduction. What is the peripheral device from the point of view of Qubes? The three parts is particularly important there. Each device has a device ID, which is not necessarily unique identifier, but it's generated based on the data delivered directly by the device and do not rely on any system source. Uh, the device is always connected through ports with ID. And for example, for the USB port, it's typically something like 4-10 or something like that. Or for the block devices, it could be something like SDA. Uh, and this port is connected to some backend cube expose this device to the other uh, cubes. And typically the backend cube is sysUSB or DOM0. Okay, so if we know that the device is these three parts, let's talk what is the assignment or attachment. To have the assignments, we need to add one part more, which is the front cube. So if you have the front cube, backend cube, and port ID and device ID, we can talk about the assignment or attachment. And this is only the example, and I want to go deeper to the difference between the attachment and assignment because there is still was some confusion and when we want to use which one. So we want to attach the device uh, for the everyday device management like the USB sticks or your USB devices or some block devices. You usually want to use the attach, and this is the most important operation for the end user. It's pretty simple, but it's also more prone to user mistakes. For example, by mistakes, we can misclicking, we can attach the device to the cubes like Vault or something like that, where we do not want to attach any devices. And this can jeopardize the safety model. On the other hand, the assignments it's intent for the automation and pre-configuration of the system. It's less prone to the mistakes because everything is checked and done automatically. And since once you configure the setup, everything happens automatically. Of course, it's also important to ensure that this configuration itself doesn't violate our safety model, but this is a different story. And in case of the device attachment, we are always thinking about the actual device connected to the system. So we cannot think about the attachment if we do not have the device present in the system. In contrast, the assigning uh, is intended for the pre-configuration, and this works even if no device is already presented in the system. So I can create the assignment of the device before I plug it to the system. So this is the main difference, and this is the tool. Assignments is the tool for automation. So if you want to configure your system, you should thinking about the assignment. But if you thinking about daily usage of device management, you think about the attachment. And in general, assignment is more complex, and there is many corner cases, and probably still some bugs to fix there, because of that. Uh, okay, just to remind, which operation works with which kind of the devices. The attachment doesn't work for the PCI devices because the hot plug of PCIs is not a case right now for our VMs. So the attachment is not available for PCI devices. Uh, the assignment, just the assignment, also doesn't work for the PCA because it's include the hot plugging, hot attaching of the devices, which is not currently available for PCI, but it works. It's convenient for the, for example, USB. When I plug the USB stick or something like that, I can automatically attach it to desired front end VM. Uh, of course, there is also two extra class of the assignments. The first one is ask to assign. So this is the extra step of security. Before the auto attaching, we will be always prompt to confirm, and required. This is how we usually assign our PCI devices. It means that this device is required to even start the front-end VM. And it also works for the block devices, but is not available for the USB or microphone. So you cannot say that the VM cannot start without the USB device or microphone, because this only will be introduced confusing, not any real use case. So we decide to not allow that. And let's focus on this attachment. As I said before, it introduced some field to mistakes of the user. So to minimize the effect of these mistakes, we introduce something which is a device denied list. So what it is and how it works. Uh, in the final version of the device denied list, we store it in the KVM prefs. So it's a preference of every VM in the system, and we can check it just by CLI by the following commands. Uh, and the list is uh, uh, define which devices cannot be attached manually by a user to a given cube by checking expose interfaces of a device. So if this encoded interfaces, which we can see here, are in and listed on the interfaces of the device, this device cannot be attached manually to the front-end VM. And I will show when it's important. Uh, there is also admin API methods to read and modify the list, but you can always directly do this by QVM prefs. And each entry of this list has a fixed length interface, and codex is like one letter and 6 characters followed. The first letter is stands for the device type, like U is for USB, B for block, etc. And the following six characters are interfaces encoding based on content of PCI IDs or USB IDEs files. And for block devices and microphone is always 6 asterisks, and there is never anything else there because there is no subclasses of such devices yet. Uh, and let's go to the example usage of the deny list in the final version. The first one, just the 7 asterisks, means that it's matched to every interface which the device can expose. So it's denied all the devices, peripheral devices. And we can set such denied list like the 7 asterisks for the cubes like the vault when we don't want to any attachment at all. So this is the most strict rule. The second one, for example, use 6 asterisks B 6 asterisk. It allows only microphone to be attached manually, and all USB and block devices are blocked. And the third line, we can see this U03 and 4 asterisk. This means that no USB HID can be attached. Uh, and I recommend this option as a, let's say, default for most or almost all VMs in the system. And the reason for this is that the most popular HID devices in everyday use is mice and keyboards. We don't want to connect directly to VMs. And there are also UTF or CTAP dongles, but we have the CTAP proxy for them. And finally, we have devices that perform the keystroke injections. For obvious reason, we don't want to connect it to any VM. Of course, if somebody uses some extra HID devices, this can be changed. But usually, most of the people uh, uh, we have this four types, and I don't think any of these types should be ever attached directly to the working VM. Uh, of course, we can always bypass it by use the force flag, but we are already warned that something is not as we think it is. For example, if we have some USB sticks, which is also the keyboard, and we want to attach it to the VM for some reason, not only block device but the whole USB sticks, it will be blocked if it's also a keyboard. So it protects from the keystroke injection. And the last one is the empty list, and this empty list is for now a default, but as I say, I prefer maybe make a default for VMs to U03. Uh, and the recommended way to modify the denied list is to use a GUI by Qubes OS global config, which cover most of the typical use cases. If somebody needs something more grained, it could use directly the CLA. And more info about that will be after lunch in the Marta talk. Uh, okay, and the second topics I want to also talk today, it's assignment conflicts. So to be in short, there is four types of the assignments. The first contain both the port ID and device ID, so it's full assignments only for one device. The second one contain only port ID and accepting any device from this port. Next, only device ID, which accepts attachment from any port. And the last, which tries to auto-attach every device exposed by the backend VM to the front regardless of the port. And each assignment must be unique, so we cannot repeat the assignments. Assignments could differ with some options which could be added to the assignment, but this identifier, which is this four parts, have to be unique. And for example, if we write something like that, we create the first type of the assignments where the device ID is automatically loaded from the plugged devices. And if the device is not plugged, the error will occur because we have no delivered device ID. The second one, we can directly set the device ID, and in such cases, we don't care if the device is present or not. The device, we have all the information here, so we can create these assignments even if the device is not present. The second type, when we want to create the port ID assignments, uh, in such cases, the port even don't have to exist. This is a use case, for example, for the block devices, like the ports there are dynamically created like SDA, SDB, SDC. So we can create some rules for that and doesn't care if already there is some attached devices or not. Uh, uh, Okay, we can also use the flag dash dash device, but in such case, we have to have the plugged device to load the device ID automatically from the device. Uh, or we can use something like that when we say that we accept any from any port the device with the following device ID. And the last options is the wildcard, double wildcard, which accept every device from the backend cube and try to auto attach it to the front cube. Uh, and there is several cases when we can encounter the conflicts. For example, if we have the following setup, so we have the uh, four assignments from backend cube to the front cube and two assignments from backend cubes to the vault cube for the following rules. So we can see that in some cases we have the wildcard in the place of the port ID. Sometimes in the wildcard which is as any device in the device ID. And we can different options like ask to attach or auto attach. And for example, if the device like this will be plugged into the port 3-1. We have three assignments which match to this event. So this is the first assignment, the second one, and the third one. But the second one will be chosen because it's uh, uh, the most detailed assignments. We have to have in mind that port ID has the higher priority than device ID. So the assignments when we have the specify the port ID but not the device ID is has the priority over the only device ID. And in this case, we have auto attachment of this device to the front cube without asking of the user. Okay, so even if we have this several assignments and two of them wants to ask for the permission, but this one do not want to ask for the permission, we have auto attachment without the asking. In the second example, if we have the device like that, but we change the port to the 3-2, we have also three uh, assignments, in fact, four assignments which match to the this event. But the most detailed one is the assignment, the second from the below, and there is two, in fact, assignments, one to the cube, front cube, and the second to the vault cube. And in such cases, the user will be prompted and asked to choose to which VM she wants to uh, attach the device. And the last example, if we have something like that, so we have some device plugged to the port 3-3, there is still two matching assignments, because the first assignment take every uh, device from the back cube, plug it to the any port, and try to attach it to the front cube. And in such cases, we have one assignment is more detailed than the first one, but this is the assignments to the two different cubes, so the user will be prompted in such cases also. And take-home messages, device API in Qubes OS 4.3. For scripting and auto-configuring of Qubes OS, you probably always want to use the assignments, not the attachment. We should use device denied list to minimize the risk of user mistakes. My recommendation is to set it to U03, which eliminates the possibility to uh, attach the HID devices to VMs, which is usually not desired. And for the same front cube, the more specific assignments take precedence, and port ID is more important than the device ID. Okay, that's all from my side. Thank you for your attention.
Okay, Piotr. Are you ready to answer the questions?
Yes.
Okay. So we are preparing. There is the first person who wants to ask the question.
Yeah, thank you for your presentation. Can you state the reason why port ID is more important than device ID? I think that's counterintuitive, at least for me, because I would think the special device is what is important.
Okay, for some reason I cannot hear you anymore, so I don't know is the finish of the question, yeah? Or
shall I repeat the question?
do you hear me, or?
It's muted. This microphone is muted.
Yeah, can you state why the port ID is more important than the device ID? I
Okay.
would think a YubiKey plugged in should always work the same, no matter the port I plug it in. I know I can design it with the rules, but
Yeah. In such way, there was no real. It was a completely arbitrary decision. We think that thinking like this, I can attach this particular port in my laptop to this particular VMs is a better mental model for the user. And that's all. So we can do something like that. That this my device will always try to connect to my special VM. But if I have this one special port, this port always goes to the another VM, and this is only because of that. And also this because the port ID is something given by the system by Qubes OS. So it's a little more trusted than device ID, which could be, spoofed. It's because it's the data from, let's say, not fully trusted peripheral devices. So we decide that the data from the system is a little more trusted, and this is the reason for this decision.
okay, thank you.
Hi Piotr, Diplo here. So I'm
Hi.
wondering if you played around with printers and if you have any idea of the diversity of the device IDs and if there's a way to like detect when it's a printer.
Uh, can you repeat
Yeah,
the
if you
the end
saw,
the end of
if you have any idea on the, like if you can infer that it's a printer from like the device ID.
yeah, of course.
Okay.
There is something like the device category already, and
Okay.
the interfaces usually works well. So if something say it's a printer, usually it's a printer,
Okay.
but you cannot trust it ultimately.
No, yeah.
But if something wants to work as a printer, they have to has a printer interface, and if they have the printer interface, it can be recognized as a printer. So yeah,
Okay.
you can do this.
Thanks for the clarification. And yes, ports are more trusted. Thanks.
Okay.
Hello. How set in stone is the device denied um, setting? If you go back a couple of slides to your example deny list um, options.
Uh, okay. This
Yes,
one?
this slide. Your second line there says that only microphones can be attached, but that will break when you add a new type. So, for example, a C prefix for CXL devices, which I'm sure
Yeah.
some people will want. Um,
Yeah.
also,
Maybe. Yeah.
relatedly, is there a reason why it's not a comma separated list? Having forcing six characters seems to be a an unnecessary restriction.
Okay. The first one, maybe this is. Yeah, you are right. This description maybe is not the best one. This is not only microphone can be attached, but if you add any, by extension, any new type of devices, it also uh, could be attached. But if you um,
So what one option for stuff like this, if you had a comma separated list, would be to deny star, comma, and then allow microphones as the only class permitted. You need a little bit more syntax than it for this, but
yeah, but here we want to keep it simple because in fact we have no pretty good use cases for allowing only selected devices. Because if you want to allow only like one device, you can create a rule like the assignments, and assignments doesn't follow the denied list. So if you want to have the VMs which with microphone, you can use it by like auto attachment. So
Yeah, so basically, assignments override the deny list. So you can deny everything and assign. You cannot
yeah,
besides attaching.
you can the
okay.
first use the first one like do not attach any device manually, and then you can create the assignments. Let's attach the microphone always to this VM, and by this you don't even have to click that connect the microphone, it will be attached. Of course you can detach the microphone when you want. So this is the the reason. And the second reason that we have do not use the comma separated, we want to keep it also simple. And as I said in the line below, the recommended way to modify the night list is to use the GUI. And if the GUI is not enough for your case, probably uh, the, you have to think about why you use this denied interfaces. Because if you this is not for allowing the single device to be attached manually, because for that reason we have the assignments, and this is for something broader that I don't want to use the USB devices in just in such VM or block devices or something like that. So the block list is for the reason why we use the denied list is slightly different, I think. This is not for allowing everything except one device, but to eliminate broad classes like the HID devices is particularly dangerous because it's can try to attack by keystroke indirection. But let's say printers is not particularly dangerous. Uh,
And the last question is,
So one more, just out of personal curiosity. Speaking of creating new device classes, has there been any consideration for a future extension of this, where, for example, you have devices which you can, as long as you trust the vendor, you can authenticate and get like a unique ID for them? Would it make sense, or maybe it's something that could be discussed later, just out of personal curiosity, like if this would be something that would make sense? I mean, it would not be the CUSB doing the authentication, because then you'd be trusting it, but maybe there could be one component that would give a truly unique ID, given that you trust the vendor.
okay, but it depends how you want to store this unique ID for the device, where it's be stored on the device or on because
Well, I don't know too much about the implementation, but I expect the devices to be able to prove.
because
Authenticate.
many vendors which want to have trusted devices, they have something like a serial number or something like that, which is already included in the device ID. So if you trust the vendor and you trust that the serial number is unique, uh, this is more or less what you want.
It would be more like
You can also include in device ID extra information. It's, I think, a simple thing to do, but still is the question that this is the information which is provided by a device itself, so from not fully trusted source. So
yeah, I understand. Okay, thanks.
thank you very much, Piotr. There is someone on Jitsi who want to ask the question.
I think not.
If not, thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you.